I'm going to talk about forms, and actually they're a fantastic tool to be using as we return to the classroom. So one of the things that I love about forms is that you can put your key question with the use of image to support the learning. Then you're able to anticipate and address misconceptions. So we're all used to seeing this in the classroom, and yes, 1 times 18 is 18, but some children may have put 2 times 9 is 18 because they've counted as 18 and they know that 2 times 9 is 18. Similarly, they may have chosen 1 plus 18 equals 18 because they've got the symbol wrong. Now, this is instant feedback that we can give to the children within the classroom. Another great feature about forms is that you can use branching. Now, I know that in some classes, the children choose what activity they're doing, or you may have different activities planned for different children, depending on what lesson you're doing. With the instant feedback option by using forms, this is an example of what the children will see. So perhaps if you integrated a form into your classroom and it was at the end of a lesson and they scan the QR code, or it's sent to them, or it's even embedded into their notebook or on their Teams page, the children can complete it independently and get their feedback. So if they get it right, it will come up green. If they get it incorrect, it will be pink with the feedback for them. So it's instant regardless of if they're in the classroom or if they're at home. Now, here are some examples that I've been kindly sent by colleagues across UL. For example, instead of having a termly grammar assessment on a Word document that you have to then go back and mark, if the children complete it independently through forms, they can rearrange the words to form sentences. They can look at their word classes. You can also use them for the English Spring end of term assessment. So I know many people would have done the Vanjat Poor narrative unit, and this year group actually turned theirs into a quiz for the children to answer. We then had some whole class reading examples. So you've got some stat style questions, you've got some ordering events questions. There's also some branching. So once the children have read the text, they can go through and decide what level they want to work at for that lesson. Now, I myself absolutely love doing the end of unit quizzes for our history and our geography and our science. But one way that we've started to move towards using these now is putting them into forms. So that then again, the children can complete them independently, and then we can talk through them as a class. Same as your pre-learning quiz, because you can put your images in and you can give the children different options. It's then taking it away from the PowerPoint and allowing them to work independently. And Dan and I have even created some examples for you for computing units. So there's no end to what forms can do for you. Now, as well as being able to use those as quizzes for the children to access, regardless of if they're in the classroom or at home, it gives you a whole array of data that you can use. So, for example, in this quiz that I produced, I saw that actually only 13% of the class got this right. So I know as a teacher that I perhaps need to recap and review what a biome is. And I could put this into a quadrant. It might be in my weekly and monthly reviews, just so it's got the stickability factor. I can also look pupil by pupil. So I can see that this child only took 2 minutes to complete their quiz. And actually for their answer, they put not sure, sorry. So I can go back to that individual child and work with them to see, do they know how plants and animals adapt, or is this something that I need to work with them on? And then you can also get an Excel document. So every quiz that you complete does produce data into an Excel table. Now, the only thing is that if children continue to submit quizzes after you've downloaded the Excel table, you do have to download it again, but that's fine because the amount of data that you're getting is the information, you can group it, you can sort it, you can use it to compare. You can then see what areas you need to work on again. So I have included a link to a webinar that I did on forms, because if you haven't used forms before, they don't take long to produce and they have a real impact in the classroom, particularly because the children can see them on any devices and you can email them, you can create QR codes and you can embed them. So I particularly like using forms beyond remote learning because they can be self-marking for quick and efficient feedback. The children don't actually have to sign in or use their Microsoft accounts, and they're weather mobile friendly. The Immersive Reader is one of my favourite tools, and those of you that have worked with me will know how much I use the Immersive Reader to support my own reading and spelling. By using forms instead of quizzes, or printed out piece of paper, you're not going to lose it. If the children do log in through their Microsoft account, it will track it for you. And as I said, you can export these quiz scores to Excel for the end of a lesson. You can add these into workflow and class teams, and you can even use the polls feature during live lessons to add questions. I particularly enjoy sharing these through QR codes at the end of a lesson, and the children quite enjoy scanning these, but you can put them into emails as well. I've seen examples and shared with you whole class reading, maths, end of unit assessments. But let's not forget that actually we've got this tool now, and the children will be making these too.